Hi besties, I'm Dana. As you can see, we are doing a Dia de los Muertos inspired look. As a proud Chicana, I was so excited for Dia de los Muertos to creep up so I can put out my own version of a CATRINA look. I love sharing parts of me with you guys, hence why in my last video I said I wanted to talk head on with you guys. I feel like this is just adding on to the getting to know me part, which makes me super happy. I'm so proud of how this came out and it's super sentimental to me. So if you try this, please tag me on any of my socials. I will 100% see it. Comment below if you like this tutorial and other videos that you'd like to see, and without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, let's get started. First things first, unlike my last video, we're going to do our contacts first because we are going to be wearing colored contacts for this look. I've said it a bunch of times before. I love how they change a look. Taking out my normal contact first. For our CATRINA look, I'm aiming to go for more of a traditional route, so I'm going to do a white face base. We don't want any fallout. I'm going to show you guys how I like to do it without getting too messy. I'm going to take a black pencil liner and I'm going to use my eyebrows as sort of a guide of where to place my circles. So I'm using the arch of my brow. A lot of the time I find that people are doing perfect circle, but I like doing more of an oblong type of shape because I find that that is what truly gives more of like an attitude and a persona to the look. Dia de los Muertos is a super expressive celebration. You should definitely take it all the way and try and be as expressive as you can about it. My shape isn't totally perfect, but it's just a start, which is all we need. I'm just kind of perfecting the areas I want to change. I want to make this a little bit higher. I'm gonna start filling this in. I didn't block my eyebrow because I am covering it in black. Had I not been covering it in black, I would have blocked it with a glue stick, but this is going to be easily covered up, so I don't find the need to do so. And this isn't going to be our only layer of black, so it'll be easily covered, but we do want that eyeliner as a base. Unlike every other makeup tutorial that I have out there, we are not doing our under eye how I usually like to do it. We're quite literally doing the opposite. We basically are trying to cover everything. It doesn't have to be absolutely perfect. We just want a base. Something for our eyeshadow to stick onto. And you want to make sure you're covering your waterline. Once that's done, take any black eyeshadow and we're going to set absolutely everything. The beautiful part about this look is that you don't have to copy me. Well, any of my looks, you don't have to copy me. I'm just trying to teach you guys how to do the basic steps and then you guys can put your own twist. You don't have to do the same colors as me. You don't have to do the same designs as me. I'm giving you guys a base to work with. Now I'm going to mimic the same thing on the other side. Again, using my eyebrow as my guide and also now my reference on the other side. Like so, and they don't have to be perfect on both sides. I start filling in, going over our eyebrows. I honestly find it really satisfying to go over my eyebrows in a black eyeliner just because it feels so wrong. And like before, take your black eyeshadow as if it was setting powder and set all of your black eyeliner. And you should be left with something that looks a little bit like this. A little crazy. Now we're going to move on to the actual base. This is a face paint palette by CC Beauty. I got mine off of Amazon. If you're looking to have something that's kind of like a one and done kind of deal, I really recommend getting one of these because it just serves so many purposes for different looks. I'm going to be using the white. After warming up the white on the back of my hand, I'm going to take it on a paintbrush. I'm going to start outlining the edges of my black and filling in as I go. I really like these face paints because they're very, very pigmented. You don't want to mix the two of the colors, so really just take your time. Then you can start blending that outwards. Of course, you want to do the same to both sides. I just love a handheld mirror. Just like that. Once we have that outline, we're going to switch brushes because we don't want it to take absolutely forever. I'm going to take this bigger foundation brush and I'm going to start applying this and blending it all downwards. Make sure you get all the little crevices of your nose. It's honestly very satisfying to me to fill in these like areas. I feel like anytime you do a base, it's like giving yourself a blank canvas, but this truly like takes it to another level, I feel. take a no color powder. I'm using this one by Ben Nye, and a powder puff, and you want to set this all in place. Do not be shy with the amount of powder you use. Important that you use a powder that truly has no color. You see how it's white? Because if you use a translucent powder or your normal face powder, it's going to add that pigment on top of the white, and you don't want to mix it in with the white. We want to keep it as pure as possible. Once you have that down, we're ready to move on. Now this is where you get to personalize it a little bit. I'm going to be adding the detailing around the eyes. So for this, you could really use anything you want. You could use any of the face paint colors. Personally, I'm going to be using this Mayron gold powder. This one you have to mix in with some liquid set to make it liquidy, but if you want to do gold and you don't have these two products, you could also use the gold that comes in the palette that I showed earlier. It's also very good. The way this works is you add in your gold powder into a container, and then you put an equals part of liquid set. This one's from Ben Nye. Ratio is really important when it comes to this stuff. You can see how it already mixed into a liquid gold. When I was in beauty school, I was in awe when I learned about this stuff, and you could test it on the back of your hand. And as you can see, it is a pure gold. You could do any design you want. You could do circles, you could do flowers. I'm personally going to do flower petals all the way around my eyes. I'm basically just making a sort of teardrop shape. I'm just doing the base of the design at first, and I'm gonna do that all the way around. Not really worrying if it's perfect or not. Really just freehand some designs and see what you like and what you don't. A good way to see what you want to do without committing is to just kind of freehand some stuff on paper with a pencil. Draw some petals, see if you like them. I used to love drawing these little petals on notebooks when I was a kid. It's kind of like where my inspiration draws. It's nothing too crazy. Look how crazy my hand looks, but look at how shiny it is, and it's a powder. I highly recommend you try it. There's so many cool makeup products out there that people just don't know about. And don't worry if it gets a little messy. Everything's fixable. We've been over it, besties. I'm gonna fill these in. I'm really liking how this is looking, so I'm gonna go ahead and do the same on the other side. Trying to keep the same number of petals. Don't be too specific on these. They don't have to be perfect. This side is literally so hard for me to film always. Yeah, it's gonna work out. Symmetry is one of the hardest things to achieve in makeup, so I feel that by keeping the number the same on both sides, it just gives you that sense of symmetry. What colors would you make your CATRINA? I truly believe that all makeup looks are a trust the process type of deal, but especially when it comes to these intricate face painting looks, I feel like it's so satisfying to watch a full picture come together. I'm going to go back in with my pencil liner, and I'm just going to kind of cover up any little boo-boo areas that I might have overstepped while doing that gold. You could always refine your lines to add dimension and beauty to the eyes. I'm also going to be adding green. I'm going in with this shade from my Pat McGrath Celestial Odyssey palette, and I'm going to apply it everywhere, starting with the center of my lids. The black gives us our perfect base to do this. I'm focusing it all on the center of my eyes. And I'm going to do the same on the other side. Applying it to the center, fading it outwards. And again, you customize this to whatever you want. I'm going to be taking a black face paint, always warming up everything in the back of my hand. And the way I'm going to be doing this is actually I'm going to be doing every other one so that it gives the illusion that some are underneath. Starting to give it more dimension. Now that we have our initial points, now the ones that we skipped are going to be tucked underneath. I'm going to repeat my steps on this side, and you could really see the difference. Now that I have this done, we're going to move on to the rest of the face. Moving on to my nose, I'm going to do 2 triangles that meet up in the center. Once I have that, I'm going to continue it over here and carve into my nose. I'm using the little divot in my nose as a guide of where to put these. So again, I'm going in and curve. We'll carry downwards and under. Today, I'm not using concealer, but face paint is going to be my bestie because I'm tapping in white to correct any little whoopsies. I'm going to fill in my lips. I'm going to be using a lip brush instead of lip liner to fill in my lips. This lip color runs pink, so I make sure that I'm layering it enough times to get its true color. Now that my lips are dry, I'm going to continue with the rest of my face. I'm going to start by drawing the lines across my lips. I'm not going to talk much while I'm doing these. I suggest you don't either. For the cheeks, it's really up to your creativity. Personally, I want to make kind of like a branch type of look because I have flowers going on and greens. I'm going to be mirroring everything I do on this side on the other. I'm also using a paper as reference because I pre-drew out what I wanted these to look like, so I highly suggest doing that if you're unsure on what to do. So I kind of have these like branch patterns going on. For my forehead, I'm going to be doing some swirls. It's up to you what designs you put. Me personally, I'm also going to add some lines in gold. This is how my design is looking. It's not too perfect. You could do dots, you can do squiggles, truly anything. I'm gonna mimic some of the petals I have around my eyes on my chin here. I'm doing 4 around, and then I'm doing some in between right here. I'm gonna fill it all in. Now before I add my black outline to this one, I'm gonna finish the rest by adding rhinestones with lash glue. I'm basically just gonna pick and choose where I think the rhinestones would look best. And the reason I'm waiting on this one is because I wanted to add my rhinestone as my center. So when I go back in to doing my lines, I know exactly where to base them off. If you do decide to add rhinestones, as I have, do note that it is a very tedious process. Before I add rhinestones to this part, I'm going to go ahead and finish the line work on here. Once that's done, I'm going to add a connecting line coming from the flower, swirling into a little bit of a branch. Fun fact, these rhinestones are the same color as my birthstone. I'm really loving how this is looking. I'm going to be adding mascara. I'm using the Bad Gal mascara by Benefit. Putting on mascara before you put on falsies is still really important, even though we really can't see it in this look. I'm going to add the longest eyelashes that I own. You're basically done at this point, but if you were going to wear this out and you wanted to elevate it that much more, you could also add some face paint to your neck. I'm going to add a couple circles going down my neck, and I'm going to end one right here before I extend outwards and do a sort of longer one as a collarbone. This is just a little extra step that you can make if you really wanted to. Totally not necessary, but pretty cool. So I'm just gonna fill in all of these. And you want to make sure you set it. Once you have that, you can take your black and just sort of outline it. For this part, you kind of want the colors to blend together because you're adding shadow. Essentially, you want the thick part to be at the bottom and then have it gradually get thin towards the top. And with that, you have just another cute little detail to add on to the look. And just like that, this look is complete. Thank you guys so much for watching. I am so happy to be able to have done this look for you guys. If you try out this look for El Dia de los Muertos or take any piece from this, please make sure to tag me. I would love to see it and comment and follow you guys. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye besties.